the consequences of checking that box. I think a lot of people don't realize, especially when they do, stupid things in their college years or whatever, or more serious things. And over the years, when you have things like tight employment markets, tight housing markets, checking that box can have a lot of consequences on many aspects of your life. And what we believe here at Mod is, giving someone a job is like a great thing, but that's just only the entry point of how we can support people with barriers to employment. And we can't just throw people over a fence and say, great, we got a job, good luck. There's a lot more support that some of these employees need. And a second area that comes together is one of the tenets of Mod is we're really trying to help level a playing field. And that's something for me. I was the family lawyer when I was like 3 years old. There were no lawyers in my family, and everyone called me the family lawyer because I have this innate sense of justice and what's fair and what's not. And it really, I had done in my past some pro bono cases, and that's where lawyers perform legal services for free. And the ABA, actually, it's not a law, it's not a requirement of having your license, but the ABA recommends that all lawyers, it's in their canons, perform, I can't remember if it's 30 or 40 hours of pro bono work a year. And the fact is that all of us have 30 or 40 hours to give. And wherever I've worked, I've tried to have some element of pro bono service as part of my practice. And I'd previously done some cases partnering with a program the ACLU had on exactly this issue, records expungement. And it's a right that a lot of people have. The laws are different in each state as to what offenses can be cleared, which can't, how long you have to wait. It's different in every single state. It's extremely complicated to parse through the laws and the regulations. And it's a right that people have, but it shouldn't be so hard for them to avail themselves of that right. And even when I sit down and read the Washington statute, if someone comes to me with the record, it takes a solid hour to say, the decision tree around if this, then that, but if it's this crime, then not here, and this is how long you need this. And it's incredibly confusing. And the legal work to pay by the hour to get these things done is not insignificant and would be a barrier to many of our squad. And so to exercising their rights. And so I had the idea of, we work with several wonderful outside law firms, many of which have a national footprint, offices in several of our states. And a lot of, what I've learned over the years, both when I was in law firms and as in-house counsel, is outside law firms always are trying to learn more about your business to make themselves more valuable and not just a commodity, fungible professional advisor. And so I just decided to start asking some of my law firms, like, hey, I'm really interested in getting some help for our squad. I know that most outside law firms, big firms, give credit to associates who do pro bono work, and they let that count towards their billable hours. And I said, as long as you're doing pro bono work, I think you should be doing it for us. And what we decided to do, and kind of the crawl, walk, run, is let's try a few pilot cases and see how this goes, of what works for a law firm. Are our squad members prepared to do this? How do they work together? A lot of our squad members had very positive relationships, frankly, associations with the justice system. And so this law firm, DLA Piper, agreed to take on 3 sort of pilot cases, working with our squad members and going through their records. The first step is determining eligibility. And moving forward. Now, unfortunately, we started all of this right within a few months before COVID hit. And when COVID hit, a lot of things in the courts got stayed, especially based on priority, and things like criminal proceedings where you have a constitutional right to a speedy trial, those got all the priority, whereas a lot of civil cases or things like this were put on the back burner and now just kind of coming back. But our goal is to take the learnings from these cases, which are now back moving along, and figuring out, how can I create something programmatic around this? We at Mod, we all like to have what we call our BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. And mine is that we would be in a position to offer any employee who's been in good standing with us for some minimal amount of time as a job benefit that we will find the pro bono resources for you to support you getting your records cleared. You know, what I found at MOD is people are very open about their past. When I just ask people, what brought you to MOD? It's amazing what people will share about their past. They're not embarrassed. They're like, this is who I am. My past describes me. It doesn't define me. I just think, honestly, it's when people start looking at the statutes, the overwhelming complication of them. And like I said, when I go through somebody's record in a statute, it can take me a couple of hours to look at this and then that and then this. And sometimes I consult with outside counsel to say, oh, I'm sorry, you've got to wait 2 more years before you are eligible, because usually there's a waiting period in which you haven't gotten any type of criminal problem. And that's something that kills me too, because sometimes people don't even realize they may be 5 years past some event that they are eligible to have expunged, but they've gotten a DUI in the interim, and that restarts the clock. And so if people understood that, like, really, like, there can't be anything on your record, just like be super careful going forward. And I've had a couple of heartbreaking cases where I've had to tell people, I'm sorry, you need to come back in a couple of years. This reset the clock for you because you had this intervening event.
Well, and I would think a DUI, especially like, say you're a delivery person, that could be a real problem in trying to get a job, couldn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even in the cases that states that have the ban the box rules where you can't check, where you have to have a reasonable relationship between a person's record and why they might not be eligible. Yeah, a DUI would be certainly grounds for an employer, even in a ban the box state like California, not to hire someone as a driver.
Right.
We don't have native delivery as part of our services, so at least that's not an impediment to someone.
Not for you guys, but I'm sure that part of MOD's goal is not to have all of the employees work for MOD Pizza forever. It's to give them the tools to develop whatever career and go down whatever path they want. And
yeah, I mean, we talk about that like, in any job and in any profession, at some point, people often have to leave to move up, right? There's only going to be so many GM positions, so many DM positions, so many. And so for us, if MOD's thought of as a great place to hire from, that's a win too. I mean, we want our people to go on and succeed. And, we know that we can't make every single squad member a GM or a DM or an RVP. And so, but if we can put them on a path where it's, easier to get a job somewhere else, we're all about helping our people. And we hope it's with us, but we also know realistically, we can't create infinite opportunity for everybody, just as a practical matter.
And clearing their criminal record seems like a huge benefit for them to go out and do different things.
I mean, when I've had talked to some of our squad members who are participating in this trial thing, and their managers, they're almost in tears, like saying, I can't believe anybody could maybe help me with this, because like I said, this would probably cost thousands of dollars to do on their own. And again, I'm not even part of it. Like they sign a retainer later with the outside law firm. Like we're out of it. That's their attorney-client relationship. And I have to say, when I talk to people, and now it's sort of gotten around where I have like different people calling me saying, hey, can you help me with this? Hey, can you help me with that? And so that is, I feel like if I could be, my legacy to MOD, if it could be to leave a sustainable kind of social justice pro bono type program for our squad, that would be a much prouder legacy for me than any of the other legal work that I do. Because it's so meaningful for them, and it's not something that I'm not aware of any other employer at this point trying to do something like that.
And you're laying the groundwork for that to happen, right? To put the different steps in place that an employee who wants to get their records cleared, they can start. It's sort of a pathway to get them where they want to go, right?
Yeah, and in general, like I said, that's a big enough goal. I mean, there's no end to where you could take this. I mean, could we have pro bono people help with lawyers help our squad with evictions, with custody issues, with, I mean, there's no end of legal issues that our squad faces. And again, I don't feel like financial resource should be a barrier to someone having being able to exercise their rights, not being taken advantage of. And so, there's no end to how far you can make this dream go as to supporting our squad. But I'm starting with something that is like so directly on point, and something that is, people shouldn't have to wear that scarlet letter. The law says they don't have to. And so how do I help them be able to take advantage of that right?